So I did promise a first impression video, and here it's gonna be. So in these first impressions, I'm gonna talk about my first impressions of the game. Obviously, um, I'm gonna focus mainly on gameplay though. Like, uh, to me, the game looks pretty good. Uh, but like with most games, I don't really care for the visuals all that much. I think the gameplay is like more important. So like the overall visuals and the frame rate and stuff, like although important, I'm not really covering it here. I actually never really do. But that being said though, like the game itself is pretty good. But it lacks a few minor things in my opinion. Um, to start first, I think that the weapons they miss a little bit of impact. To like showcase that on like some bigger enemies here. Like most enemies that you will fight, they don't really feel your attacks, and that's the only like thing that I think they could improve a bit. Like, of course, with a bigger enemy, you see, you clearly feel their attacks, but they don't really feel yours. And that's the main problem that I think the combat might have a bit. So like even though you hit it hard, you see that your attacks they miss a little. They like miss a little strength to it. And unfortunately that's a little bit the case for every weapon. Like the X is like a little better in that regard. That's like your heaviest weapon from the bunch. But you will see even with the X, like your attacks do not really stagger enemies all that much. So it's really important that you like dodge on time because compared to like your enemies, you do feel their attacks and you need to like be careful not to get staggered by heavy attacks like there. But you see that they barely feel it. Like obviously you can like stagger them like that and like backstab them, but overall like they don't really feel your attacks. And I mean that is not just the case with those bigger enemies like I shown here. Like you can also see that in like smaller enemies like here. Of course those are weak. That's why I took the big enemies. But like you will feel like even smaller enemies they will not really feel your attacks. Like the attacks really miss some weight to it. That being said though, like the the rest of the combat is really good. So what you do have is like combat has a few major things. The first thing that you have is like discipline skills. You can pretty much see that every weapon that you have has like two skills, and some skills they cost Skyborn Might to like empower. To like give a quick example, this is like one of my skills that I jump into the air. Uh, of course, there has to be room above you. Um, but then if you have the might for it, and I take this weapon real quick, because this one builds up might over time, although it might take a little moment. But then you will see that it has additional effects, and I really like that. And what I also like about it is like even though you don't have the might for it, like you can still like use a weaker version of your skill of that. But you can kind of see what I thought about before. Like enemies do not really feel your attacks, so sometimes they just like brute force their way into your combo, and that is really something to be careful for. But if we now switch to the X and we do the same attack, now with the two might that we need, you will see that adds fire to it. And so um, every attack has like a different might cost and also like a different effect to it. Like the game also explains you that, like if you go to the description, you see use with Skyborn Might for greater potency. In this case, it will add fire. Like Earthshaker, my other skill, if we use that with Skyborn Might to bolster your resilience, so it will be like even more effective with three mights than that you do it without. But you can still do it without. Like you can still do that, but you see it will not really buff me. But if you do it with one might, it will buff you, and if you do it with three might, it will buff you even further. But like I said, it is nice that even though you don't have the might, you can still use your skills, although they're weaker. Then to get like in the rest a little bit, like I will first get into like the main weapons that you have. So the main weapons that you have is like the axe. This is like easier your heaviest weapon, but early on it might be a little hungry for your stamina. So like in order to get more out of it, you really need more stamina. Then then you have the daggers. That is like easily your fastest weapon, but um, of course they don't really stagger compared to the X that has like a little bit of stagger potential. But like the main benefit of the daggers are like that they are fast and they don't cost a lot of stamina, so you still have like a lot of room for dodging. But this is actually the main way to avoid damage in this game. Then you have like the one-handed and the straight swords. They're pretty much the same. They're like your basic swords. They're not anything like too special. Besides that, the one-handed obviously builds up might over time, and that is actually good for spellcasting. But we will get into that a little later. Then the straight sword is pretty straightforward. I will mention though, with straight sword you can actually parry. So then you have like dodge and parry to avoid damage, same as the X can actually block. But like the block is not like in a Souls game where you like block all the damage. You just block like a part of the damage. But with parry, if you do that on time, you can actually like totally avoid the attack. So that is really nice. So every weapon like feels unique. But like I said, the only thing that they miss like all a little bit is a little weight to their attacks. That being said though, your skill tree works a little bit like your skill tree and your level up tree. So it is not like in other games that you like collect souls and you then level up. Here your upgrades are more into your skill trees. Like you see here, I get one more strength. Here I get five vitality. Um, Here I get like one endurance. And like every weapon like scales with different things, and every weapon has like different things in it. Like if you go here, you have like more magic, that is better for your spells. You have more agility. So it's not that you really level up. Um, and that might be a little confusing because like to actually level up, you have to go here in the middle and press the thing to actually level up. But the thing is the game will not really remind you to level up. So sometimes you can come in your skill tree, you can do some changes here, and then you forget to level up. So what I really would like to see is that they like give you a pop-up or something that you can level up. Because I sometimes already forgot it. That being said, though, like a thing that I really like, that is always nice. You have a lot of skills, but you can freely reset everything. So I can go to a skill here, for example, and then I can get that one node back that I have. If I would do that here, I would get my 20 nodes back because I invested mostly in the X. I'm not gonna do that for now, but you see that you can do it. So you can reset every skill tree separately, same as here. So that is always really nice. So you can really like try a weapon, and if you don't like it, nothing is lost. You can just try another weapon. So the game really gives you that freedom. Um, then some quick things. Teleportation is like right off the bat, it's available. That's really nice. Enter the and the Enter the Dream is like to rest at your bonfire. Here it doesn't happen automatically. So I can just like leave and like if I would drink all my healing, if I don't actually like enter the dream, then you will see I still don't have my healing. So that kind of allows you to like rest at a bonfire, do some stuff here like your skill tree, your inventory, but not reset the world if you don't want to. Then of course you will get some other things like temper, that is like elemental buffs that you put on your weapon. Um, Although elemental buffs they don't work on every weapon. In that case, I have like an electric sword where I cannot buff it with fire. I mean, I can buff it with fire, but it will take away the electricity that's on it. Then you have benediction, that is pretty much perks that you put on your weapon, like all pretty straightforward. Invoke, that is like a shop that you have, and if you buy stuff, you get like corruption, and like that will awake your inner demon, but we will get to that later as well. Then you have your warehouse, and you see you have a lot of different armor pieces and a lot of weapons, like here. And the nice thing is like every weapon has like his unique skills. Like these are daggers with like a gun. There's a hammer that can spray some kind of a poison mist. So even though every weapon has like the same kind of movesets, they can have different skills. Like here I have like a ground slam, while with the axe that I have now, I have that jumping attack. Then to get into the armors, they're mostly cosmetic. Like obviously they boost some resistances, they boost some um, certain types of um, damage negation, but like they don't give any stats. They don't have stats bonuses, at least not from what I noticed in the first few hours. You also have like charms, a little bit like rings in Dark Souls. Then you of course have a bunch of items. And then to lastly to like get in the spells. Obviously I have more spells. But for like spoilers, I only equipped the first spell. And everything in this game works with might. So if you press triangle, you cast a spell, but now I cannot do it because I don't have the might for it. If we like get a little bit of might, like now I have the two mights, and now if I press triangle, I will cast this like blue daggers that you throw, and every skill has like its own costs. To just showcase like maybe one skill, this has three costs, this has one cost. Um, and that's the reason why the one-handed is so good. Like you might notice, I have three. Um, like right now, I have three might, even though I didn't attack, and that is because this blade does this automatically. And that's why I think the one-handed is really good for spellcasting because it keeps building up your might even though you don't attack. And you can kind of see it, like right under my health bar, you have this little icon that is now at 4. That is the rate at which might will be accumulated over time. So the higher your stacks, the better. And that's why I think the one-handed really is good for like spell casting because it allows you to like have an pretty much an endless might supply, even though you don't attack. And like the other benefit that the one-handed really has over other weapons is like because you constantly like accumulate mights, your might doesn't drop. While with other weapons, if you don't attack, your might will slowly drop over time. But with this weapon, you don't have that issue. So I'm at like 3 mites. That's my maximum stack set right now. And so long I'm holding this weapon, I will also remain at those stacks. Well, if I switch to my axe, it will actually drop over time because there's nothing that like refills the might. And actually, that's pretty much almost everything I have to say about the game. I only gonna get into the inner demon. So if you die here or you slay human enemies, your inner demon will get higher. Like you see now at the moment I have 55 stacks of 115. If that is full, um, if you then die, you will deal more damage, but you will also take more damage. In addition, like if you drop your souls, normally your souls are like pretty much your soul icon, like you have them in Dark Souls that you can walk over and pick up. If you, on the other hand, die at like full inner demon, then if you come to your souls, there will actually be a revenant that you will have to defeat. If you defeat her, you will get your stacks back and you will get your souls back and everything. If you, on the other hand, don't defeat her, then you will lose everything. And that kind of gets to the invoke shop as well. Like you see, I have different items here that I can get, and they all have like a different inner demon cost. Like you see, I can buy this for like 20, I can buy this for 30, and I can even buy this for 100. The reason why this is like grayed out at the moment, that has to do with your inner demon stacks. Like if you see my inner demon is at 55 right now. So if you would do that plus 100, you will have 155, but I only have a capacity of 115. And besides that, like it actually doesn't really have much of a consequence. Like I can just buy some stuff here, just to show that real quick. That's you see, you can also see it on the icon next to your might. It will glow more red. So I'm gonna buy a few additional things here, um, to hope and there we go. So now you see that I might full inner demon, and if I now would die somewhere, so we're gonna die somewhere real quick. Preferably in a zone without anything that can jump me. Maybe here to the docks. So we're gonna die real quick. And now you see, huh, my madness has provoked. So now I deal more damage, but I also receive more damage. And if I would now go back to my souls, like you will see, most of the times it is like this dark shadowish thing like that. You see that little orb over there? That is normally what it is that you pick up to get your souls back. Now you see it's a woman. The only positive thing about the woman is like, although she deals a lot of damage, she will attack like anything. She will attack you, she will attack your enemies. You see, she's like even attacking the dogs. So enemies can also like kill her. So if you really want, you can kind of bait her into fighting other enemies and have enemies kill her for you. You see? So it's kind of nice that like even though she will attack you when she like sees you, she will still attack other enemies. Enemies will also attack her. So she's kind of a little bit of help, um, even though you might need to die for it. You see, now she's dead and I get everything back. Now I let the enemies do it, but you will also be able to do that yourself. That's also another thing, like stagger is really, like your heavy attacks really stagger from behind, but they don't really do all too much from the front. There we go. So you see, now you also see if I go to my inner demon, it is totally reset. So now if I would go to because I only have 5 at the moment, if I would go to the shrine, you will see that I can also buy additional items that I couldn't buy before. So if I go to invoke again, I can buy this for 100. And we're gonna buy it. You also will see that my inner demon is like pretty much full again. That being said though, like that is pretty much everything that I have to say about the game. Um, you also have just that. Um, they also like work on like a few environmental things. They also work on a few NPCs. Although I don't really need them yet, except like one to like give an example. Um, there's one actually right here in front of the temple. Like it will not do anything for me anymore because I already did it. But here you will have this blue spark that you see. You can like check them, and it tells you like pay your respects before the ghosts of Shu statue to reunite with faces of the past. So what you then do is like you go to your poses, you go to like worship, and if you do that, you will get an item from it. Of course, like I said, I will not get it anymore because I already did it. But that will do it. For for the rest though, the game plays pretty good. Like I said, I think it has a really few upsides. I do like the spells. The spells feel valuable. Sometimes maybe a little overpowered. Um, the like overall the weapons also feel good. Personally, I like the axe more together with the one-handed. I didn't really like the spear, but like I said, you can try every weapon for yourself. It is nice that the skill tree is also free to reset. You can also transmog your armor, obviously, and also remove it. You see this like my original helmet normally, but I can transmog it into any gear that I want. So that is really nice, really nice thing that they added. To showcase, like this is the item that you use to actually buff up your weapons. In this case, it is fire for me. And for the rest, it is pretty straightforward. It is also nice that you have a whole guide that you can look up everything. The only thing that they miss though is like the explanation for like status effects. Um, so that they might want to add. Like like I said, the game has some minor things, you know. You maybe sometimes have visuals that don't always look too great in some places. For people that are bothered with that, the like I said, the weapons they feel a little light. If you like hit an enemy with like a heavy attack, like right in their face, and it feels like they're not like bothered by it. I think that's a little problem. Like the combat might feel a little stiff at first, but I mean that's how it felt for me. But actually, like once you get into it, it actually gets better. But it might take a little time, and maybe some people uh, might be like put off by the early stiffness of the game. Just to give like an example as well, you see I can do this now pretty well, and I don't really run out of stamina. In the early game, the axe might feel a little too stamina hungry rather to use it. But for the rest, that's pretty much everything I have to say. Um, m- Maybe they could have opted for a more original leveling up system. I think that might have been a little better. But although I'm not really bothered by it, but it is just something that they might have done. But then like the free resets might have been a little hard to do. But like I said, overall it is a good game. I just hope that they tweak a little things like the heaviness of the weapons, the reminders to level up. Well, you do actually have one reminder if you see like the icon in the top right, it will glow yellow when you can level up, but sometimes you often forget it. So that they might wanna change. But overall, I think it's a good game. It's also like It's only like what is it, 50 or 60 euros depending on which version you get. So it's not a full price game. That considered though, I think it's well worth it. I also heard some performance issues. Personally, I haven't had any performance issues. Of course, I can only speak for PlayStation. I don't have it on PC. I don't have it on Xbox. But so far, I have nothing to report. I had no bugs, no issues, no nothing. So I think it's really good. And if they like change the little minor things, I think this game might be really good. The only last thing that they might change that I didn't mention yet is like maybe the running speed. You see, I think like the running speed might be a little bit higher. That being said though, because you do have like I said, you do have like teleportation right at the start, but you cannot teleport everywhere, you know? And especially at some places if you're like looking for your way, it might really be um a long like run back. Um and I think that pretty much wraps up everything. I would give one tip though, like don't use every item that you have. For example, those you can actually give them to an NPC, but you can also use them to heal yourself. So be a little bit careful for that. But you've like more than enough items. Like this, no one uses, and you can perfectly heal yourself with it. Um, for the rest, like you see, there are a lot of different items that you have in different games. These are your soul items, and these are your bonfire return items. You also have a bone whistle that summons a companion to assist you in battle. But I cannot really tell much about it because I haven't used it yet. I mean, I tried to use it like once just to test it out, but I'm not really sure when it will work. First, I thought it would work in boss fights. It didn't seem to trigger there. It doesn't trigger in the open world. So I'm not really sure yet uh, when and where you use it. But yeah, it is in the game. But that kind of wraps up everything. If you have any more questions or if you want any more explaining about something, leave a comment and a like under the video. That always helps out to like reach more people. And for the rest, I can only like recommend this game. For me, I love the Chinese setting. I love Souls games in general, so that are huge selling points for me. And I think the game overall is really good. Um, some people don't call it unique. I think it has some uniqueness to it, like every spell and every weapon art, where you have quite a bunch from. Like like this is only for two weapons, eh? But if I like get my other weapons, you have like quite a bit of arts. Um, yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say about it. So I would say try out the game for yourself. It's not a fully priced game. It is pretty polished. It is overall good combat. Maybe a tweak here and there might help the game out in the long run. But I would recommend this game. I love the game. It is a good game, so I would say try it out for yourself. And with that being said, I'm gonna wrap up this video and I hope that you had something on it.